I've made no secret over the years that I am a huge fan of the X-Men, especially kind of that early 90s era. In fact, that's my main collection of Marvel Legends figures, is kind of my own self-created list of which characters I wanted, and a big part of that was inspired by X-Men the Animated Series. While I was a fan of the comic books, and especially of the Jim Lee trading cards, the animated series was, well, it formed the backbone of, like, probably a lot of you out there, our X-Men fandom. Now, for me as a toy collector, though, it was also a big empty sort of hole, is I never collected the 90s X-Men figures from Toy Biz, and I always regretted it. This was a line that came out when I was kind of, well, was I getting away from toy collecting? Well, things always come, full circle, and now here we are at last, where X-Men the Animated Series is coming back as X-Men 97, picking up right where it left off, I guess after graduation day, the last episode. Now, in this video, I want to be very realistic based on, copyrights and based on story structure, but I want to talk a little bit about, personally, as a huge X-Men the Animated Series fan, what I hope will be there in X-Men 97. So, without further ado, the first one is Cable. All right, well, yeah, Cable's been around since before the X-Men Animated Series, and he was, obviously in Deadpool 2. But the animated version was really, well, it was awesome. He was so cool on the series. I mean, when he comes up and says he's the wild man of Borneo, that was like one of the coolest moments. Now, he's usually, though, by himself. Well, I mean, he teams up with the X-Men, and he's got his son in the future and, a few other allies. One of the things that happens with Cable early in the series in Season 1 is Jean reads his mind on Muir Island and discovers that Cable is her and Cyclops' son. She doesn't tell him or Scott Cyclops this. Not me, Scott Cyclops. Now, this is something from the comic books, sort of. I mean, it got complicated with clones and alternate timelines, and I do like how X-Men the Animated Series simplifies things. So I'd love to finally see a scene in the show of Scott and Jean and Nate, Cable, coming together as a family and learning who they are. It would also be so cool to see Cable form X-Force. X-Force was obviously a jumping point for kind of the Chromium Age and, for that hyper style that percolated. And the thing is, almost all of the X-Force characters were in the series. In fact, both Domino and Cannonball were on TV screens in the very first episode in the pilot. And as the show went on, more and more characters from X-Force showed up in background shots, again on like monitors and billboards, such and such. In fact, Farrell actually had a large talking role in Season 5. So, yeah, she got some serious screen time. So make her action figure already, Hasbro. And Cannonball also has an episode in Season 5 completely dedicated to him, which is kind of odd because he shows up in his full Cannonball outfit earlier on, starting, like I said, in the very first episode, the pilot. You can see him on a TV screen in the background. So kind of weird that when we finally catch up to him, it's pre-costume days. Another sort of character from the X-Force-ish area is their main villain, which is Strife, who shows up very briefly in Beyond Good and Evil, which was the Season 4 finale, meant to be the series finale. He's one of the psychics that's captured by Apocalypse there. So it'd be great to see more teams. It'd be great to see X-Factor have more screen time. It'd be really great to see Scott and Alex, the two Summers brothers, learn that they're brothers. They have a fight that their beams keep going through each other, and they don't know why. Well, let's get a conclusion to that moment. It'd also be great to see Excalibur, the one 90s X-Men team that doesn't show up at all. I guess, Nightcrawler shows up, but that's pretty much about it. In fact, Kitty Pryde is a character who sort of inspired the original pilot, The Pride of the X-Men, doesn't even get to show up at all in X-Men the Animated Series. So that would be really cool to, see her. Not to mention the original X-Men. We had a flashback animation bit that was used actually quite a few times. I want to say 6 times in total throughout the series. It was the same stock footage, I guess, that they reran, but it showed the X-Men in their kind of 1960s looks and the original team, which included Iceman and Angel, who appeared on the show but not as active members of the team. So it was sort of to show that, like, yeah, they used to be members of the team. We even get a really cool kind of flash-forward-y flashback in season 5, where we see the original team and we see Rogue in her Outback outfit, Gambit and Wolverine in his original outfit. So, like, kind of like when they first joined the team, what it looked like. It'd be great to see that era. Now, the show had a lot of guest stars, and not all of them were from the X universe. I mean, we had Avengers characters showing up, Doctor Strange shows up. Spider-Man has a sort of cameo where we see him in shadow on the back wall there, and we see his arm shooting out webbing. So while Spider-Man never got to meet the X-Men on their show, he certainly did on his show, which was kind of the other half of your Saturday morning Marvel fix back in the early 90s. So while it was really great that the X-Men showed up on his show, it would have been cool if he could have returned the favor. Although with copyrights and issues with Sony owning the animation rights, this may be less likely. One character, though, that's not Spider-Man that might show up, Deadpool. Right? I mean, he's incredibly popular right now. While he wasn't a key player, or rather anyone on the original show, there has been merchandise based on his one very brief appearance. I think it was Morph disguised as Deadpool, trying to sort of screw with Wolverine's head, turning into Deadpool and then Omega Red. So, yeah, he's showed up briefly. It'd be great to see a much more robust role. I'd also love to see some of the characters that were kind of one-offs, that only appeared in a few episodes, actually join the team. This was the original plan, actually, after Season 4. Season 5 was going to show that Angel and Nightcrawler and Colossus joined the team because a few of the main characters were going to perish. Plans changed and this never happened. But it'd be cool to see these, backup characters join. Again, another team, the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. While they did get some screen time, and it tended to be sort of Mystique's team minus Destiny, maybe they didn't want to, edge into that whole relationship between Mystique and Destiny, although now it feels like they would make a whole season just about that, based on where Disney is going. But we never got, characters like Toad to join the team, even though he does appear in a couple crowd shots, and actually an episode where Cyclops goes off into the country and fights him. But we never really got the Magneto team with all of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. So it'd be really cool, since all these characters do more or less exist in the X-Men the Animated Series universe, to see the full Brotherhood. All right, now I said I wanted to cover things that I hope to see, but I also want to talk about some things that we might not see, like Spider-Man due to the Sony ownership over animation rights for the webhead. One storyline that a lot of people are asking about is Age of Apocalypse. Now, the thing is, while this is definitely a story that was sort of mid-90s and feels like it should be kind of the next era, Age of Apocalypse was already told in X-Men the Animated Series. It was a two-parter called One Man's Worth. And this two-parter actually inspired Age of Apocalypse. The animation in this case came first, and then basically the same plot of Professor X getting assassinated and them having to change time, that was literally picked up by Age of Apocalypse. All right, so what about you? All right, and last but not least, I'm going to save the best one for last, I want to see an episode of X-Men the Animated Series where they fight this guy. Well, sort of. Okay, well, what am I talking about? The opening credits, right, where you get Magneto, Juggernaut, Warpath, a green dude with a bald head, Pyro, Mystique, Sabretooth, and Avalanche without his mask. But who in the world is that guy in the green outfit with the purple head? Fans have made the assumption that it's probably Gargoyle from, he's an old Hulk villain. If you were going to pick anyone in the Marvel Universe that this character looked like, Gargoyle would probably be the one. But, well, Gargoyle has appeared in the animated Marvel Universe, I guess you could say, and that's what he looks like, not what's in the X-Men opening credits. Now, credit where credit's due, CBR.com uncovered that they knew there was a mystery and fans have been asking, and it turned out that the animation studio, Alcom, AKOM, which did the animation for, well, basically all of the cool cartoons in the 90s. If you basically stick around through the end credits, you'll see their name show up in all the cool stuff. So they did the opening credit, they did the whole show, and they did the opening credits, and it was a mistake. They just put him in there. So I think we should get an episode where the X-Men fight that guy. I think he needs his own episode because he's been in the credits for like 4 seasons. It's like mysterious, pink-headed, green dude. All right, what about you? What kind of things do you hope to see in X-Men 97? What things do you think we might never see? Love to know in the comments below, and as always, thank you so much for watching these videos. The best way to show support for this channel is to share this with others, and thank you for doing that. All right, let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the comments section. Have a great day.